Now, the UK's financial regulator has asked banks and financial businesses to check if they have links to the law firm at the centre of the Panama Papers leak. The Financial Conduct Authority has given them a deadline of next week to investigate any possible ties to Mossack Fonseca. A leak of more than 11 million documents from the firm has sparked allegations of tax evasion and money laundering involving clients right across the world. We're going to talk now to Professor Chris Roebuck of Cass Business School, and he's held lots of senior roles at international banks. Chris, thanks very much for joining us. What's your thought on the way this reaction has gone today?
I think to some degree it's encouraging to see a UK regulator moving as fast as the Americans normally do for a change. I think the banks have a problem. They will potentially have worked with this law firm on the basis of either clients, putting clients in touch with them, or potentially in terms of their own business. In both cases, it could be embarrassing. The banks will probably be frantically trying to find out what relationship they might have had with this particular law firm, but also looking at relationships with other law firms in other tax havens. And there is a problem for them because as potentially clients move on or potentially clients die, the paperwork relating to those relationships could well have been destroyed. So if the bank no longer has records of that relationship, but they exist in the law firm papers, it could be quite embarrassing.
Well, indeed. What's that going to look like?
Well, I think the problem is that the fact that you have a relationship with a law firm in Panama is perfectly legal. The question is, why is that relationship there and what is the objective? One of the problems that the banks have found is that the stress on the importance of doing what the customer wants is very, very high. The problem is if the customer wants to do something that isn't legal, the bank should not be sucked into actually agreeing to it. Or proactively doing things that are illegal. And that's the problem. Somebody somewhere out there, given all the relationships with all the banks, has probably done something they really shouldn't have done.
What's your sense of the kind of activity that's now likely to be going on behind the scenes in the banks and financial institutions in London following this request?
I think it's going to be going through the records as quickly as possible in terms of this specific organisation. But I think also it's going to be casting the net wider to say, look, have we been working with organisations that could be construed as having been doing things that the general public, the regulators, the politicians might not be happy with? So it's perfectly legal to have a relationship with these organisations. The question is, what was the relationship seeking to do? And in the final analysis for the banks, for leaders who have been working with these organisations, any indication that you have got something to hide calls into complete question your credibility as a leader, as an institution, and as somebody who is acting with honesty and integrity.
Chris, good to talk to you again. Thanks for speaking to us
Thank
today
you.
about this. Professor Chris Roebuck there of Cass Business School.